Hey, what's going on, guys? Bflattened here with a brand new video today. Today we are going to be discussing and talking about the new item that came in Vault Card 3, the Blade Fury. Now, the cool thing about the Blade Fury is it can come in a Masher variant, which I found out on my first roll of a anointed version of the Blade Fury. As soon as I got it, I knew that I needed to make a build for it, so I made it within the hour itself. Let's go ahead and talk about this build. It's very close to my malicious melee Amara, so skill trees are going to look very similar, but we'll go over them again anyways. So steady hands for weapon handling and accuracy so that we can hit all of our blades and bullets really easily. Infusion for 5 so we can get our weapons to get action skill element. This was fixed. The infusion still used to be bugged when it was 5 out of 5. It is no longer bugged, so you could put 5 into 5 freely now. Illuminated Fist, you gain melee damage, and her melee damage is converted to her action skill element. Tempest for elemental damage and shock damage. This is going to be helpful for our purple tree. You'll see why in a minute. Dread, our gun damage is increased every time we pick up an enemy. We're using it with ties that bind, so we get even more gun damage on our Blade Fury. And I only had 2 points left over, so I put them into Indiscriminate. Now, the way that it works is that the bullets will transfer over, the blades will not. So, the blades can ricochet. Or, sorry, the bullets can ricochet, the blades cannot. Fast hands for reload speed, so that we can get even faster reload speed on top of our kill stack anoint. Violent Tapestry and Do Harm are 1 point to move down the tree. Transcend for critical hit damage after activating your action skill, meaning after we activate our ties that bind, all of our damage is going to be showing up. Alternatively, if you want to take some more points out of the red tree and put them more into blue tree, you could do things like Laid Bear or Rest, so you can get more action skill or more damage overall and gun damage after activating your action skill. These are not a bad choice either. And finally, I do Restless in the blue tree with action skill cooldown rate. With the Expedite fix and Restless together, that action skill cooldown rate will have your uptime of your ties that bind very, very, very fast. Finally, we max out Purple Tree. No mistakes in nature. Whenever you apply a status effect to an enemy, you get melee damage. We have a bunch of different elements going through, so we do this often. Heavy Rain, splash damage. That's going to be working with our Body and Mind skill. Unweave the Rainbow. You do bonus damage of your attuned element whenever you do melee damage or splash damage to a frozen target. We're using the Frozen Heart, so this procs constantly. Go with the Flow was just to move down the tree, but you get movement speed and weapon damage whenever you freeze an enemy, so it's not a bad choice. Combo Breaker, if you kill an enemy with melee, you reset your cooldown. If Expedite and Restless are not fast enough for you, Combo Breaker do it for you. Joyful Freedom, after activating your action skill, you get 98% melee damage with the 2 points we have in our class mod. Burn Both Ends, after activating your action skill, you get increased damage for a short time that stacks. 5% damage for 15 max stacks with a duration of 8 seconds. Burn Both Ends gets really, really, really stupid really fast. Finally, Body and Mind. Body and Mind is super good. It's Mayhem scaled. You get melee attacks, do bonus splash damage for a short time per melee attack. Since our Masher is doing 4 different melee attacks, that's 4 different individual splashes that are going on. It'll stack with things like Heavy Rain and also Arms Deal, so you get even more splash damage. If you have splash damage as your passives on any of your gear, that will also work as well. This thing is ridiculous. Clear the Mind. After killing an enemy, Amara ignores enemy's elemental damage resistance. So whatever your element decides to be, you just ignore elemental resistance. If they are immune to it, that does not work. So if you do fire on a fire badass, that does not work. If you do like Cryo on Wotan, that will work because that's resist. Getting into our gear, it's very simple. We do Hellwalker just for some gun damage related stuff if you want to swap to that. I do it with consecutive hits. The Becca is now in Maurice's vendor as of this week, so you can do kill stack on it, you can do action skill and weapon, you could do action skill and element. There's a bunch of different choices for it. I chose kill stack for the Masher because the kill stack on this is going to be ridiculous. It's going to be our main weapon, so we always have this active. weapon damage and reload speed, so you can shoot this thing very, very quick. It has a large enough magazine size too, so that kill stack will be able to stack up very quickly. The Frozen Heart, whenever we activate our action skill, we freeze targets around us, giving us the entirety of our purple tree. We have the Tensei. I have it with shotgun damage for our Hellwalker, melee damage for our Blade Fury, and Jacob's crit for everything Jacob's. The Fish Slap for melee damage, it comes with double link, which is going to be your highest related damage because you link targets between. It's going to be your best choice for mobbing. I do it with Cryo damage because this is Cryo themed, and we do even more melee damage to frozen targets. I use an Icebreaker Victory Rush, however there's other really good options as well. Mine rolls with AoE, mag size, fire damage. You could also do it with a Shockstone Static with Assault, Shock damage, fire damage. You can do Jacob's Company Man. There's a lot of good options for this. Whatever your melee artifact of choice is, that's what you can do. I like the Icebreaker because Icebreaker is V2 damage, which is multiplicative, and because we're freezing targets a bunch anyways, we can stack that multiplicative damage to a bunch of different targets for mobbing. If you're bossing, I would suggest switching that out to like a Jacob's Company Man so that you can get that damage and crit through. The fire rate is also pretty nice. I think that's all going to be doing it for our gear and skill trees. Let's go ahead and show off what this does. What you want to do when you lead off a fight is you want to eyesight bind. You get frozen targets. You shoot your blade. Everything dies. Now, there was an inconvenient barrel there that ended up killing me. Perfect to have that for a video, right? Now, if you're not a fan of the Kensei, you could also switch over to a Muse. A Muse is not a bad choice either. Especially if you have a Muse with 3 Illuminated Fist, you can definitely get that to work too. The Kensei works in this build very well with this weapon specifically because it works with both melee and weapon damage. It's really, really, really good. For those that don't know what the Kensei does, it's a kind of a new class mod. After activating her action skill, Amara deals 10% bonus melee damage of her attuned element type with her weapons for the next 6 seconds. This goes directly into the Blade Fury, and it's pretty much a perfect class mod for it. But the Muse is also a really good option as well. If you want to go for an option 3, Berserker is also not bad either. That is a barrel indeed. I did not blow myself up with a barrel though. Just realized I'm using corrosive element, but that doesn't matter because we have our purple capstone, so we're running over things regardless. This thing just shreds. I got very lucky with having a masher version, which allowed me to get to testing this thing almost immediately. I'm very, very happy with that. Now we just need a name for the build because this was done within the hour. This was done within the hour. For those of you watching on YouTube, you guys will have a build name already picked out. Those watching on Twitch, some names would be great right about now. That would be excellent. Knives Out Amara, that doesn't sound too bad. Blade Barrage Amara, that doesn't sound bad at all. I like that. That might be the winner. That's pretty good. Blade Barrage is actually pretty good. I like it. Fury though. I'm gonna go ahead and rush over to I almost said Wotan. I'm gonna go ahead and rush over to Trant just to show you just what I can do on bossing. Phaser's Edge, that's not bad either. Frozen Fury, that's not bad either. Dang. Dang. Fury of the Storm. Oh, that Frozen Fury is pretty good too. Dang. You guys are great with names. You guys are excellent with names. Can I get that save file when you are done? I need that gun ASAP. I don't blame you. Playstorm Fury. Phaser's Edge has a nice ring. It does. Yeah, you guys are excellent with names. Blade Runner Amara. Now for Boston, I would probably recommend swapping out of the cryo stuff just a little bit, because bosses can't be frozen. You can freeze Wotan's lower half. What I would recommend is maybe a Revolter and perhaps a Jacob's Company Man that's on this build. These will work out just excellent. That way you can actually utilize the damage portion of Jacob's a little bit more, and you don't lose out on the damage of not being able to freeze your targets. Let's go ahead and have some fun with our old friend Shrunk over here. I probably should have gone over to Shock, though. I probably should have gone over to Shock. That was a pretty bad display. Let's go ahead and do a good display. Ice Pick Siren. Grasp and Slash. I'm gonna go ahead and switch back over to the Icebreaker as well, just to show you the differences between the two. See which one you guys would prefer. Go ahead and swap over to the Icebreaker again. The Shock Stone I would probably recommend for mobbing, because you can get the static charge to chain between. It also comes with assault rifle damage, which is nice. Shock damage with Tempest is also really, really good. And also I gotta switch out my action skill element. We'll do Shock. Let's do it. Let's see how this ends up working out.
Take them out. So much power.
You can see the differences already between the Icebreaker and Jacob's Company Man. We're doing far less damage, so you would probably want to do that for Boston. There goes our splashes, because we killed a mob. Good to have Body and Mind active. Yeah, I would probably recommend the Jacob's Company Man for Boston instead. Icebreaker is really good for mobbing. Cryo and Shield doesn't matter because of our Capstone. Amara ignores elemental damage resistance for a short time, but I didn't kill an enemy, so that's fair as well. That's fair as well. Let's go ahead and proc that before. Is the new knife gun as broken in practice as it is on paper? Absolutely. That's actually what we're testing right now. That's exactly what we're testing right now. What I think we're going to do is, let's go ahead and proc first. There we go. It looks like we needed Body and Mind. That does a lot more damage. What do you get when you have a Mayhem Scaled Steel? Bunch of different status effects going through. Yeah, we just delete. That's a lot of fun. Save file is going to be in Discord as always. Feel free to check out the save file if you want to download and play with it. I did make this within the hour, so I kind of rushed this a little bit. There's probably a few things that are off about it. If you feel like changing it, go nuts. I hope you enjoy. My name is Bflattened, guys, and I'm signing on out of here. Take care, all. Laters.